Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Hammond collection review. Today we're taking a look at the Jurassic Park III Corythosaurus. It feels just like yesterday that I finally completed the last round of Hammond collection figures, and now we're being hit with a whole new slew of figures in the Hammond collection. You know what? I'm not complaining because I absolutely love these figures. These are the best products Mattel has put out since they got the license back. Now I end up getting mine from Big Bad Toy Store. I end up getting the Corythosaurus, Irritator, and Metriacanthosaurus. I'll be reviewing those right after I finish this one. I still have John Hammond, Nedry, the Baby Stegosaurus, and Baby Rex still on pre-order from Amazon. Big Bad Toy Store also does have those in stock, but I'll leave a link down below to Big Bad Toy Store and the Amazon pre-order if you haven't gotten your hands on these figures yet in the description. So yeah, this Corythosaurus, this is kind of a big deal figure. There's never been a Corythosaurus figure in any of the Jurassic lines. This is officially the first one, and just like all the attention Jurassic Park 3 is getting lately. So let's take a quick look at the package before we crack open this pretty chunky looking figure. Hammond Collection logo down here. We got the T-Rex silhouette, Jurassic Park 30th anniversary logo front and center, Corythosaurus. Turning it around, we do have the Jurassic Park 3 logo, a nice picture of the actual figure. And in the back of the box, we got the Corythosaurus with a defining duckbill and head crest. The Corythosaurus stampedes onto the scene as Dr. Alan Grant and Paul and Amanda Kirby desperately flee from the Velociraptors on Isla Sorna. Now, the Corythosaurus literally only appeared in this quick stampede sequence. Like if you blink, you miss, it's mixed in there with some Parasaurolophus. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we actually did get this figure. And surprisingly, there's no mainline version of this figure also. So it's a Hammond collection first, and like I said, it's the first Corythosaurus figure ever in the Jurassic line. So let's crack this figure open, throw up on the turntable, and jump into this review. And here is the Corythosaurus out of the package, and all I have to say is, wow, this is one of the nicest painted Hammond collection figures so far in the line, and this thing looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's a big figure. It feels like it's one of the bigger figures in that $20 size class. It is just painted beautifully from head to toe. It's pretty much movie accurate, and I just absolutely am digging this thing. I do have one minor complaint about it, but we'll get to that a little bit later on in the review. But yeah, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Just love the head sculpt on it. Corythosaurus has always been one of my favorite hadrosaurs, and it's just so nice to have a nicely detailed, fully articulated figure of this species. Like I said, it only appeared for a few seconds in Jurassic Park 3, and I just think it's really cool that Mattel finally gave us Corythosaurus. Just love the white body contrasting with that mustard yellow color, all highlighted by black markings, and you have a nice bright red head crest. Just all around a really cool looking figure. And obviously with those slightly oversized feet, you can get some really nice poses out of it. It balances on one leg, with a little bit of finagling, but yeah, all around really impressed with this figure. And now for some measurements. This figure is a whopping 13.5 inches long from the tip of the beak to the tip of the tail, on 13.3 centimeters, and 6.5 inches tall to the top of the crest, or 16.5 centimeters. So Corythosaurus in real life was between 25 and 30 feet long, or 7.7 to 9 meters. So I'll put this figure somewhere in the 122 to the 127 scale range. Now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this beautiful head sculpt. I think they really nailed the look of Corythosaurus with that high head crest, which is all decked out in bright orange paint, highlighted by white. The beak is sculpted in white, lots of nice scale detail all over the beak. You can see the nostrils sculpted in right here. The eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. You have this nice mustard yellow color, almost like a honey Dijon, that covers the top part of the body. The eye is all decked out in black, lots of nice black markings all over the figure. And open up the mouth, you do have a cute little tongue and gums painted a nice light pink in there. And then let's get the camera to refocus on everything. The underside is all done in this cream color. You can see those little black flecks of plastic mixed in there, and I think it adds some nice definition. Sometimes Mattel overdoes it with the mixing of plastic, but they really made it look nice on this one. And then going down to the neck, lots of nice folds and wrinkles and scale detail all over the figure. You can see muscle tone, and you see all the muscles over the shoulder and folds around the hip area. Going down to the hands, the hand claws aren't painted, which is pretty unfortunate. This is supposed to be a collector line edition. Mattel would just go that little extra mile and just add those little paint details. But the figure is so good. I'm really not gonna, it's not gonna bother me too much that those aren't painted in. And then going down to the flanks, you can see the nice black markings separating that cream, that white color and mustard. Going down to the thighs, nicely sculpted thighs. You can see the knees are nicely sculpted, all those nice folds, nice bulging calf muscles. The toe claws are painted in nice glossy black plastic. And then going down to the tail, you have some nice markings that go down almost all the way to the end. I felt like Mattel was slipping a little bit with the paint apps with the last few Hammond Collection releases, but they really made it up for it with this Corythosaurus, because this thing is beautifully painted from head to toe. And, I say with a lot of the figures, this is one of my new favorites in the line right now. Now for articulation, the mouth can close completely flush, open up all the way with a nice tiny, articulated mouth. Let's remember that they did not give the Triceratops an articulated jaw. The head can look up, it can look down a little bit. You get some nice rotation on that head joint. For the neck, you get upwards and downwards movement and some nice side-to-side movement and 360 degrees of a rotation. Going down to the arms, they go forwards and backwards. They're on a hinge, so they can swing out. You have about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow joint, but the hands, unfortunately, are fixed in this position. The arm is thick enough where they could easily incorporated a hinge joint and swivel for the hands. They're just constantly locked in that position, and I really don't like it. It's my only big critique about the figure. There's really no excuse why this does not have wrist articulation. It kind of blows my mind how a lot of the figures, besides the Rex and the Concavinator, have wrist articulation. A lot of them should have it. I just don't know why they don't do it. Now going down to the legs, you get some nice backwards and forwards movement on there, and you do have a clicking point to lock those legs in neutral position. You do get a nice thigh pivot for the knees. You get just under 90 degrees of bent the knee, and at the ankle or the calves, you get some nice movement and rotation side to side, and you do get a nice rocker joint on those feet and backwards and forward movement. Tail can go up, down, side to side, and it is a bendy wire tail, so you can get some nice positions with that. It's made out of a very tough, durable rubber, unlike the Amber Collection Raptors. I feel like those are going to disintegrate any day. This is a very durable rubber around that wire, so you shouldn't worry about that wearing out at all. Moving on with comparisons, first up here it is with Jurassic Park III. Alan Grant. The Corythosaurus looks a little small next to Grant. The line is supposed to be 1/18 scale. We have to remember Mattel has to work within the size constraints of the packaging that these figures come in, so it's a little bit undersized, but you know what? It's really not that big of a deal. They still look absolutely great together. And next up here it is with another fellow Jurassic Hadrosaur, the Parasaurolophus. This was one of the first Hammond Collection figures to be released, and the Corythosaurus is actually quite a bit bigger than the Parasaurolophus. Mattel could have just easily used the para body and thrown a new head sculpt on there and called it a day. I think a lot of us would be fine with that, but you can see like some changes that they actually have done. The Parasaurolophus did not come with an ankle joint. You can see it on the Corythosaurus right here, and they look very similar body wise. The Corythosaurus is 100% a new sculpt. There's no reused parts from the Parasaurolophus, which they easily could have used. So yeah, so pretty good at Mattel making this 100% a new sculpt. And next up here it is with the Hammond Collection Concavinator, which is one of the very few bipedal Hammond Collection dinosaurs that actually has wrist articulation besides the T-Rex. Even the newer ones, the Irritator and Metriacanthosaurus, don't have wrist articulation. I just find it very, very annoying. They should have it. And these I can understand on the Velociraptor, because they're a lot smaller wrist joints. I don't understand why they're just not giving these things wrist articulation. It would really elevate these figures to being absolutely perfect. And here it is with the Hammond Collection Triceratops, which still remains the only dinosaur in the entire line not to have mouth articulation, which is still inexcusable. Yes, I know they're making up for it with that new, bigger Triceratops that's getting released relatively soon, but still no excuse for this thing not to have mouth articulation. They should just went the extra mile and actually even put opposable tongue in there so we can recreate the sick Triceratops scene. So yeah, this is why this one still remains my least favorite Hammond Collection figure. And next up here it is with the Hammond Collection T-Rex. We're getting a Lost World T-Rex sometime this year. I think it's probably going to be the Buck Rex, but we really, really need a Hammond Collection Spinosaurus, and I hope that reveal is not too far away. And lastly, here it is with a nice group shot of all the Jurassic Park III Hammond Collection figures so far. The amazing Ceratosaurus, female and male, Velociraptor, and the Ankylosaurus. So yeah, a lot of love JP3 has been getting lately. I know it's not everyone's favorite movie, but it has some pretty nice dinosaur designs in it. So I'm really happy to see that it's getting the love that it, probably doesn't deserve, but at least we're getting some really cool figures from the franchise. So, final thoughts on the Hammond Collection Jurassic Park III Corythosaurus. It's a fantastic figure. It's movie accurate. The paint job is really, really well done on it. It's just a really fun figure to play around with. The articulation is great. My only complaint about this figure is the lack of wrist articulation. His hands are just locked in that downward position. That's really the only thing I can complain about on this figure. But yeah, definitely one of the best in the Hammond Collection so far. I've only had this figure for like a day so far, and it's quickly become one of my favorite figures to play around with. And like I said at the beginning of the review, if you want to pick one of these up for yourself, Big Bad Toy Store has them in stock. I'll leave the link down below in the description, as well as the link to Amazon for their pre-order. Who knows when these are going to actually hit Target shelves? I feel like they just, got the Pachycephalosaurus and Concavinator and Ankylosaurus in like a couple weeks ago. So, don't hold your breath if you want to find these in store. Just pre-order them online. Sometimes these Hammond Collection figures are just an absolute pain to get your hands on, and just, try to secure your pre-orders in as early as possible. It's just been really weird the last few months with this collection trying to get these new figures. So that will do it for the review. Still got the Metriacanthosaurus and Irritator to review, and a couple other new stuff coming in. So lots of new reviews on the channel this month of May. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys for the next one.